Ben's back. He's older, wiser, and rocking the Ultimatrix, an upgraded Omnitrix with stronger evolved versions of some of his aliens. Basically, Ben can now go Super Saiyan on command, but with new powers come bigger problems, and as usual, Ben's learning the hard way. We're back, ladies and jellyfish, for part 3 of this ongoing series to recap Prime Ben 10 continuity in as little time as possible, to talk about the entire timeline of Ultimate Alien. If you have friends or family who want to get into Ben 10 but can't sit through the episodes, send them these videos to get them on track. Let's go. As if saving the world wasn't enough, Ben's got a new issue. He's famous now. As opposed to his secret identity of days past, now the whole world knows about Ben and his aliens, and it's going straight to his head. Cue the merch deals, fan mobs, and people blaming him every time something alien-related happens. Ben's out here doing PR stunts while Kevin is still trying to be a half lowlife in peace. While Ben's living his best life as an alien superhero celebrity, a new villain named Aggregor shows up, starting the season-long arc of hunting down aliens for power. But Ben's too busy being a superstar to notice how serious this is. He's about to get a harsh reality check. First, the gang come across an alien named Bivalvin, who Ben later transforms into his water hazard. He's an alien stranded on Earth after his ship crashed down, following a tough escape at the hands of the aforementioned Aggregor. This is followed with a team meeting an alien named Galapagus, another named Pandor, Rad, and Andreas. These 5 aliens, known as the Andromeda 5, possess the powers of water, air, fire, electricity, and earth, put it mildly. They've all gone their separate ways, following an escape from Aggregor's ship, as they were all hunted down by Aggregor so he could absorb their 5 powers, which would transform him into Ultimate Aggregor, possessing tremendous strength and abilities. Aggregor is an Osmosian, like Kevin, except fully, meaning he can absorb energy from living beings to use for his own. After the gang help all 5 return to their home planets, well, sort of, they're all eventually found again by Aggregor and captured, although not before Ben can also scan them for his Ultimatrix DNA database. Aggregor absorbs the 5 aliens, killing them in the process, and begins to possess their powers within his own body, emerging as a monstrous amalgamation of these forms. He uses this new elemental power to kick Ben's ass on Earth and begins searching for what's known as the Map of Infinity, an infinity sign split into 4 parts and scattered across hidden locations across the universe by our old friend Professor Paradox. This begins a new spree of intergalactic pit stops as the gang does everything in their power to stop him from attaining at least one of these pieces, which would grant him access to the next level in the grand scheme. They travel to a cool planet where half the planet is molten hot and half is ice cold, which is also where Necrophrygians live, which I thought was really smart. It's a personal favorite. Or the hilarious Perplexahedron episode, where the gang navigate a weird rotating white maze Rubik's Cube to find the final piece. And oh, it's just so glorious. Unfortunately, Ben's weakness and kindness end up being their downfall, as Aggregor manages to acquire all 4 pieces of the Map of Infinity, which means we're about to go to the final boss territory. Get ready. Azimuth, the Omnitrix creator, along with Professor Paradox, the Time Walker, reveal the power behind the Map of Infinity. It can grant Aggregor access to a hidden dimension known as the Forge of Creation, the place where celestial sapiens, alien exospecies, are born. I've talked extensively about this episode in a previous video, linked here, but the gist of this episode is, Aggregor's whole plan from the start was to capture 5 aliens with elemental powers, hold them captive on his ship, capture each one again following their escape to Earth, absorb them, fight Ben for a bit, go from planet to planet to planet to planet, capturing the 4 pieces of the map, just so he could get into the Forge of Creation, so he can absorb a baby Alien X, which could be absorbed without the debate aspect of Alien X, which makes it so tricky, and make him an omnipotent being, capable of doing basically anything he wants at the snap of a finger. Kind of an elaborate plan, I gotta say. Did I miss anything there? Ben, Gwen, and Kevin don't give up, following him to the Forge of Creation, and reuniting with a 10-year-old classic series Ben in the process to fight Aggregor. Nothing seems to work in their efforts, until Kevin absorbs Teen Ben's Ultimatrix powers, and kicks Aggregor's ass in about 4.2 seconds, flat. Aggregor's powers are absorbed by Kevin, turning him into the most powerful mad Osmosian monster since ever. While Aggregor is defeated and the baby Alien X is spared, the team is divorced for the time being, and things seem as hostile as ever. Here's where things hit maximum overdrive levels of drama. Now that Kevin's gone full villain, he can't control himself and turns evil again. He literally kills people, going after old enemies, and even some old pals, who did him wrong in the past. Ben decides the only course of action is to kill Kevin and restore order, while Gwen pleads to talk to Kevin and be more sensible. Even despite her pleading, Kevin still takes his chance to squash Gwen, even after getting the whole family to talk with him and console him. A giant badass fight breaks out between Ultimate Kevin 11 and Ben, as Ultimate Echo holds the most epic moment in all of Ben 10 history, and does the Sonic Doom, literally reducing Kevin to his last heartbeat. Thanks to Gwen, Ben spares Kevin, and with the help of some old friends and enemies, Kevin's power is restored to normal, and the Andromeda aliens' powers are also sent back where they belong. Finally, Season 1 is over, with a healthy team, a defeated Aggregor, and a few more aliens in the roster. What more could you ask for? We start Season 2 with a new character, Eunice, because Ben needs a new girlfriend for some reason. I've talked about Eunice before, she's great. basically a new type of Omnitrix that absorbed Gwen's DNA when it landed on Earth, and thus looks like a blonde girl. But she can absorb powers of living creatures like animals and do weird things. It's a weird episode. It ends with her leaving with Azimuth as his makeshift robot apprentice. This is where Ultimate Alien takes a shift towards episodic premises, rather than the overarching plots we got in Season 1. Meet Jimmy Jones, a total fanboy for Ben and his alien antics, who occasionally helps the team with alien finds. We also meet Gwen's unknown cousin Sunny and her boyfriend Antonio, who are loud and obnoxious. And we see Elena again, Ben's love interest from the Alien Swarm movie, who can control these nanochips that can transform her into different people. She's infected with these nanochips, which are now controlling her, turning her into a queen of a giant bug swarm. Ben wants to save her. Gwen's like, not our problem, and Kevin's just done with everything. Yada yada, filler episodes galore. The gang go to a plumber base and go through cliche drill sergeant routines to get their plumber badges in check. And Ben 10,000's back! Finally, something cool! In this version, he can't really transform, but he can morph his body and commit the alien's abilities using his human body. Kinda weird and inconsistent, but Wildmutt's back, and he can talk now. And did I mention ultimate forms? Ben's got one now for Swampfire, Humongosaur, Echo, Spider Monkey, Way Big, Wildmutt, Cannonbolt, and Big Chill. Awesome! Before we get into Season 3 though, we gotta foreshadow what's gonna happen. Some Forever Knights, who we know from the original series in Alien Force, or just weak fodder villains with an old medieval style to them, have broken a magical seal and released a powerful demonic spirit out into the world. A parasite creature, a Lacubra, finds itself to connect to Gwen, giving her a deep, scary voice and connecting her to the all-powerful demonic spirit. While Ben and Kevin try to free her, Winston, a Forever Knight squire, reveals that the first knight, the original founder of the Forever Knights, captured the Lacubra in the seal centuries ago. Alright, we're about to get into some real medieval crap, and I'm all here for it. While Season 2 is all one-offs, Season 3 combines the episodic nature with its aforementioned arc of the seal and the Forever Knights towards the end of the series. The season starts with the most epic line ever spoken by Ben in the franchise.
Maybe you've forgotten something. I'm Ben Tennyson, wielder of the most powerful weapon in the universe. I stopped the hybrid invasion. I defeated Vilgax in hand-to-hand combat.
As the gang annihilate the Forever Knights after the first night, now revealed to be Sir George, orders a purge of all of the hidden alien species on Earth, which they deem to be inferior. But no one can go up against the alien transformer himself. Characters of old come and go, from Albedo starting a Ben 10 live theater show to mess with Ben, to Simeon from Alien Force taking the gang to a spider monkey planet to save it from DNA alien infection, to the Techodon robots returning at Volcanus' request to knock out Ben once and for all. A lot of episodic comeback stories turn into one-offs. Honestly, it's pretty damn entertaining. Unlike the filler episodes of Alien Force Season 3 that often felt bland and uninspired, Ultimate Alien third season clearly had a lot more thought behind it, and offered interesting redemption arcs and comebacks for certain old characters. Ultimate Sacrifice! Ben's ultimate forms start going haywire, developing minds of their own. The aliens are tired of being Ben's quote-unquote weapons, and they're ready to break free. Humongosaur and the rest of Ben's ultimate aliens turn on him, forcing Ben to confront the fact that he's been taking them for granted and using them against their will, something he didn't know of, considering Albedo built the Ultimatrix he uses. Ben has to bargain with his own aliens to regain their trust, ultimately learning that even his powers have limits. He decides to commit an act of self-sacrifice and basically kill himself if it frees these captive beings, who try to hunt him through the Ultimatrix mainframe. Ben wakes up as Azimuth saves all of them, setting the Ultimates free, while still retaining their DNA samples in Ben's roster. So, what was the point of the whole suicide thing? Well, now we know that Ben values the lives of a few aliens in his watch, more than all the millions or billions who could die without him being alive. Makes sense. Anyway, a main plotline here follows the Flamekeeper Circle. The Shadow Organization believes in the supremacy of Dagon, an ancient godlike being, who happens to look a lot like a squid, a Vilgax-type squid. Just a coincidence. They're not your run-of-the-mill fan club. They think Dagon is the true savior of the universe. Of course, they see Ben and his crew as obstacles to their fiery devotion. Their influence spreads like wildfire, gaining recruits called the Esoterica. You know it's bad when the bad guys roll in wearing cult robes. The Esoterica are Dagon's foot soldiers, teleporting shadowy figures with the charisma of Ghost Freak and the persistence of frickin' Echo. They serve as the muscle for the Flamekeeper Circle, carrying out their mission to revive Dagon and pave the way for its return. So who's this Dagon everyone's so worked up about? Well, before I tell you, we interrupt this recap to bring you the Nightmare episode that everyone loves. Albedo hooks up Ben with this alien blob that attaches to his face in the middle of the night. Ben has a super creepy dream where he faces off against his biggest enemies in a barren, empty world, with even Gwen and Kevin turning on him. Things turn when he realizes it's actually Albedo, and they fight in this dream world as it slowly becomes Albedo's nightmare, which is always losing to Ben without fail. Eventually, we see Albedo slip in Ben's real room and drop the creature on his own face, locking him in a creepy nightmare where Ben's aliens all kick his ass one by one. Anyway,
Back to Dagon.
he's a cosmic entity from another dimension, with plans to dominate Earth and beyond. A godlike figure with reality-warping powers, he's not just content to rule, he wants to erase free will. And yet, he looks like a floating sushi platter. Bruh. But seriously though, Ben's Omnitrix may be powerful, but going toe-to-toe with someone on Dagon's level? That's a whole nother challenge. The Esoterica break the Dagon seal, and set the Dagon loose. Every human on Earth gets turned into an Esoterica, other than the Forever Knights, who along with the founder George, eventually side with Ben and the gang to defeat Dagon. Things complicate even more when Vilgax teams up with Dagon to take over Earth, something you probably wouldn't expect from Vilgax. At the showdown of all showdowns, Ben realizes he's got to go all out, using every ultimate transformation in his arsenal to hold his own, including Ultimate Way Big, which fails. George is even killed and turned into ash by Dagon, who sees them all as insignificant specks. As the battle intensifies, Ben's forced to push the Ultimatrix to his absolute limit, proving just how far he's come as a hero. Yeah, I'm just kidding, he only uses like 2 crappy aliens that no one wanted to see. Vilgax has a plan to wield Dagon's powers for himself, which he eventually does, becoming frickin' Super Vilgax, now stronger than ever. Going back to where it all started, in the Plumber Base in Mount Rushmore, Ben wields Azimuth's sword called Ascalon, and fights Vilgax mano a mano, simply stabbing Vilgax with a sword in an anticlimactic fight, as is the case with a lot of Ultimate Alien fights unfortunately. Ben wields unbelievable power. He holds the Ultimatrix, the Sword of Ascalon, the Dagon's power, and Vilgax's power. Becoming power mad for a sec, and considering wiping out all evil, Ben reconsiders once Kevin, Gwen, and Julie console him to make the right choice. In the end, he turns all the Esoterica back to human, restores the order, and returns the sword to Azimuth. In return, Azimuth grants Ben the new and improved Omnitrix, culminating this whole show into a brilliant ending that pays tribute to the amazing creator Dwayne McDuffie following his passing, and transitioning the franchise into Part 4, Omniverse. And that's Ben 10 Ultimate Alien. Join me next time for the final recap that will go over 8 seasons of Omniverse, and bridge together the entire Ben 10 franchise in a final recap that I aim to be as concise and brief as possible. Tell me your thoughts on Ultimate Alien in the comments down below, and stay tuned for more adventures. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment, and follow the socials with the links in the description below. I'll see you beautiful ladies and jellyfish in the next one.